Hi guys, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jodilee.
And welcome back to lesson study 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, lesson 1. It's so weird to say that, sorry. I'm still getting used to this new quarter. So yes, lesson study 1, Thursday. And we got a really cool verse for you guys coming from Isaiah 5, verse 1 to 4.
Yes, and it's all about vineyards, right? So if you like farming or grapes or non-alcoholic grape juice, then this is for you.
Sweet. I will sing for the one I love, a song about his vineyard. My loved one had a vineyard on a fertile hillside. He dug it up and cleared it out of stones and planted it with the choicest vines. He built a watchtower in it and cut out a winepress as well. Then he looked for a crop of good grapes, but it yielded only bad fruit. Now you dwellers in Jerusalem and people of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard. What more could have been done for my vineyard that I have done for it? When I looked for good grapes, why did it only yield bad?
Okay, so it sounds like, okay guys, I thought you were talking about Isaiah and God and our relationship with him and the Israelites' relationship with him, and now you're talking about vines, right? But it's actually quite cool because here God is showing Isaiah like a prophecy, right? A vision or something, and he is using a parable, which is something that I actually, I know God probably has used it throughout, but when I think of parables, I think of Jesus in the New Testament, right? Yes. But he has a parable of a vineyard, and Jesus actually has a similar parable, I think, or a few parables about vineyards in the New Testament, so you can go check those out as well. But if we start, right, Isaiah 5 verse 1, it actually says, the one I love, right? And what I liked that the lesson did is that it highlighted this part, right? It said, this was the kind of the foundation. Before we even dig into this vineyard story, before we even to dig into what it's saying, it's talking about that God is saying, this is the one I love. I'm doing all of this because of love, right?
Yes.
And that's so important because that's God's foundation, not because he wants to like be powerful and rule over people, but because he loves us and he wanted a relationship with us, okay? So that's important to remember, okay? So then what happens? This guy, okay, which if you kind of go look into the meaning of it, God was talking about himself and the Israelite people. The Israelite people were the vine, right? He'd gone and he'd done all of these things to build this vineyard for the Israelites. He'd planted them there, and what happened? They got bad fruit, okay? So if we're going to look at that in that way, every time we do a comparison, you can think of the Israelite people, and then obviously think of yourself as well and how it relates to us, okay? So what did God do, right? He built it on a fertile hill. He plowed it. He took out the rocks, okay? He chose the choicest wines, and he built a watchtower, okay? So how can we compare those things, okay?
Yes.
So for me, the fertile hill, and maybe I'm digging too much into it, let me know if you guys agree with me down below, but the way I kind of saw it is that he put them in the right spot. He put them where they needed to be, okay?
I think so.
Maybe you're in a city where there's lots and lots of distractions, maybe at a school when you're the only Adventist, maybe you're in a place where you've got a really great friend, okay? God has put you where you need to be. That's not the problem, right? God's put you where you need to be to find him, okay? So that's kind of what I thought. He put them in the best spot. Then he plowed it, okay? So he like worked to grow these grass. He wasn't just like, bam, let them grow, okay? He actually was invested in us, okay? And I think God's invested in us getting to know him. He's like there, he's willing to do the work as well, okay? And then he took out the rocks, okay? So this one was a bit, maybe because I'm like, sometimes there's painful things in my life, right? But if you think about it, there's that verse that says, God will never give you more than you can handle, okay? And I think sometimes when even there's painful situations in life, God makes them a little bit easier when you have him with you, right? So to me, it's like he takes out like the painful rocks, or he just makes them a little bit softer, maybe put some mud over them or something. Okay, and then he chose the choicest wine, so God didn't make a mistake when he made you. Kind of the way I see it is that he only put the best things in because God only creates the best, okay? So the vines were the people, and he chose the best ones, and then he built a watchtower, which is how he can watch over and protect them, right? He continues to watch over us. So that's kind of how I looked at it, just to compare it to my life. And then he asked a question, so what more could he have done, right? And to me, I think he's got us pretty much covered if we look at that, right?
Yeah, he's given himself a really good position to argue his point from.
Exactly, right? He's showed us all the things we can do, that he did, and so he said, what more can he do? And just before that, he waited patiently, okay? And if you read 2 Peter 3 verse 9, you guys can go read it for yourself, but basically what he's saying there is that God's not slow to coming, like God's not slow, right? He's taken a long time to come and take us to heaven, but it's not because he's slow, but it's because he's waiting patiently so that we can all be there. So it's basically like he's waiting for, even if it's a slow vine, He's giving you a chance to grow,
Come
you know?
on, buddy, I
exactly.
believe in you.
Put some more water on, you know? So yeah, he's asking what more he can do. And as Brian says, like, he's covered himself, right? There's like nothing more he can do. And the lesson touched on it as well. I mean, it doesn't specifically refer to it in Isaiah, this chapter, but ultimately, Jesus came and died for us, right? He kind of gave up his, he gave up his life, okay, to die for us. And I'm like, when you put it in that context, there is actually nothing more that God could do for us. That would kind of be the most. And then on top of that, he went and did all these other things. And we can all testify to things he's done for us to try and win us and build a relationship with us. So yeah, I think that's a really beautiful story and a reminder of all the amazing things God does for us. And a question to us to say, are we becoming good grapes or bad grapes, right? And the actual
Don't be a bad grape.
Yeah, the word for bad grapes, the lesson said, was actually stinking things, okay? I don't want to be a stinking thing. You know, wild grapes makes it sound nicer, but stinking thing, no thanks. I don't want to be a stinking thing. And yeah, it's kind of God has given you all these things. He's really helped you out. He's there for you all the time. And are you becoming a stinking thing, or are you using that and building a relationship with him and asking him to show you how to live your life to the best?
Awesome. I just, how much more true is this for the Garden of Eden? It's very true for our own life. We have no excuse. God really does look after us, and there is enough evidence of that from everything that he does to bless us. He's with us every single day of the year. He's holding our hands. He's walking alongside us. He sent Jesus. Jesus didn't come in the Garden of Eden. He sent Jesus for us, you know.
Yeah.
Jesus was there and he died for us. So God has done everything for us. But if you think of the Garden of Eden, it was like the perfect environment.
Yeah.
Like he gave man the best optimal chance to succeed.
Yeah.
And we dropped the ball. Let's stop the what do you call this?
cycle.
The vicious cycle.
Yeah, flatten the curve.
Yes, flatten the curve, guys. Let's slow this sin thing down, the real virus of 2020.
Amen. Okay, that's awesome. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's close and pray.
Awesome.
Dear Lord, thank you so much that you didn't just come and like plant a seed in the ground and leave it, Lord, but you were invested and you gave us the best chance we possibly can. Help us to stop finding excuses and rather find you and ask you how to help us live the best life that we can and be a witness for others, Lord. Please be with us today. Amen.
Amen. Bye guys.